On the first moto, I was charging my ass off.
Welcome back to Lake Havasu. Ralph Shaheen along with Robbie Floyd. You're watching the 785 Pro Runabouts. That's Dustin Farthing on that red Sea-Doo. He's leading it, trying to claim the world championship.
Didn't really know what to do with ourselves, right? We were traveling the world, getting to enjoy watercraft racing, hanging out with our friends. It was basically like going to college, but without the classes.
Dude, we had a hell of a time, right?
Yeah,
it was awesome.
It was incredible.
And that was, in 1999, we opened in December of 2000, was our first Honda dealership, and that really only reason we're in the power sports business is because we were out racing jet ski. That competitive, nature of racers is what makes us successful in business, because those type of driven people.
And that's kind of what keeps you actually still involved today, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
100%.
obviously you personally aren't racing jet skis anymore, watercraft anymore. Ryan's not racing watercraft anymore, but it keeps you still wanting to be involved with Devin, Talon, and myself, right? And because it's your passion, it's what you dreamed of, right? It's what you loved, and we just had so much in common with the passion of the racing that we both still love it today, man, and we still want to support. It's even like me today, do I need to have all these racers and all these people? No, but it's my addiction, it's my passion, and both of us, we get that addicted personality, and you have to focus it on something, and it's a lot better to focus it on racing and stuff than other negativities in your life at that point. We are going to find a way to go crazy and make something that no one could ever imagine, and we're gonna just live uncomfortable, and we're gonna be just chaotic. And that's kind of what it stemmed into, really.
Exactly, yeah. We became consolidators of the market. That was what really fueled our growth.
Life got real interesting for Farthing and Beverly Racing's Tim Miller when Tim took a bad bounce coming out the back of a wave. It was close, but fortunately Tim was unhurt. Dustin Farthing raced from 4th to 1st, riding a flawless race for his first Pro 1200 main event win this season on his Kawasaki STXR.
The longer the race, actually the better I ride, because the smoother I get.
Dustin Farthing takes the all-important Pro 1200 overall points lead going into round 4.
Hey, what's up, man? I'm Dustin Farthing. You guys know me from the YouTube channel, Farthing Racing, and we're here with Justin Price and the guys from Mountain Motorsports. So we're gonna go into a little bit of history about where Mountain Motorsports started. Alex and these guys are gonna take you around to some stores, show you the inside of Mountain Motorsports. You guys are gonna get to see. Make sure you go check them out, no matter where you're at. Georgia, Alabama, or Tennessee, there's locations all over. You will not find a better dealership group that's got more selection and stuff with the baddest locations and guys that support racing, right? We're here, everybody's a racer. If you're watching this YouTube, you're either into racing, like going fast, or like cool stuff, and these guys are the guys that you want to support because that's the people that you want to be involved with.
You don't think I know how to ride the race tune? You're not a race tune guy. I'm the fastest guy on the GP. You like that?
Yeah.
I got the M&M look, baby.
No. I'm gonna get mine too, man.
Yeah. Summertime. Hey, the ladies think it's savage. Hey, Nicole tries to beg me. She wants me to run that thing between her legs. Like a corn muffin.
Some interviews with the guys from Mountain. This is one of their build departments where they photo some units. Everything you see on their website and stuff happens right here. Mountain Motorsports is one of the companies I used to be partners in, I own part of, and these guys are still involved, and I'm kind of still involved in behind the scenes financially on the business. Help them and they help me, and so we're gonna do a little interview with these guys today. Check it out.
I have this class, right? I had this class.
Oh, I forgot to tell you
And
this.
dude, I use you for everything. Dude, I use your name for everything. Dude, so we got this project, and it's like use a Knoxville leadership example. So I'm like, oh, Knoxville, Dad don't live in Knoxville, I can't use Knoxville. I'm like, dude, I'm using Justin. You gotta get all this information about them, how they're a leader, what they did. Dude, I literally just answered it like I was listening to you. I just did it how I thought you would answer it.
Okay.
Dude, she said it was the best presentation she's ever heard.
Oh, dude.
And she was and she wants me to get your contact information to give to her so you can come in and be a guest speaker.
No shit, really?
Yeah, so he got you a job.
Hey, my name's Justin Price. I'm the co-founder of Mountain Motorsports. This is our 25th year in business, our 25th anniversary this year. We have 11 powersports dealerships in the Southeast. Our first one was in East Tennessee, the town that we grew up in. We have 2 stores in Greenville, Tennessee. We just recently got one in Chattanooga, 2 in Alabama, and then we have 5 around Atlanta, Georgia, all around the northeast and west perimeter. We're a full multi-line dealer. All of our stores, we consider them to be super centers. We've taken over the last 25 years and we've bought different dealerships and consolidated them into bigger super centers. That way our customers can come and look at as many brands as possible under one roof, so you don't have to drive to different stores in different towns. And it also helps us give a really good cohesive customer experience through all of our stores, because when you come to one of our dealerships, we're going to show you all the brands in that segment that you're looking for. That way you can make the best decision. So that's really what we pride ourselves on, is having a lot of selection, a lot of brands in all of our stores.
We all started in the jet ski racing together. We all kind of met, became friends in the mid 90s, early 90s.
Ryan started racing jet skis and we were racing locally. We gone to the local race in Nashville, and I was a holder. I was always there to pick stuff up, because when we started racing, we didn't have the right rigs, we didn't have anything, so that was the help on the team, and Ryan was getting into jet ski racing. And I remember that when we found out there was a national tour. I remember you. I knew you when you had one tattoo.
Yep.
And we didn't really know you then, of course, but then as things progressed, obviously, Ryan got much more serious in watercraft racing. He was, racing national tour, started making it to Lake Havasu. And then, obviously, as we all traveled the whole, country together on this tour, we had a hell of a time. Right?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Incredible. We didn't know, we honestly were kids that didn't really know what to do with ourselves, right? We were traveling the world, getting to enjoy watercraft racing, hanging out with our friends. It was basically like going to college, but without the classes. We got to travel the world and just have fun, have a good time.
It was your job. Like you were, this was when watercraft racing is, this was your profession, this was your job. And I remember Honda was making a watercraft. Remember they decided they were
they started,
And then they came to one of the races, and then they told us, like, hey, there's an open point for, a store in Tennessee. And we applied and we got that Honda dealership. So, and that was, in 1999, we opened in December of 2000. Was our first Honda dealership, and that really only reason we're in the power sports business is because we were out racing jet skis. So then honestly, we just kept racing, I guess, for years. Like Ryan went to UT.
Yeah.
I went to work at the store, and you're still full blown.
I was still racing, yeah. Ryan would go to class on the week, during the week.
Yeah, exactly.
He was the responsible one, going to class, doing the daily grind. Yeah. You were running that first Tennessee Honda store at that time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was kind of still traveling the world racing for all the manufacturers, and but we saw each other every weekend. We got to build that connection and stay friends, through that side of it.
That's my favorite part about racing in general. I mean, at the end of the day, like, obviously we're in the power sports business because of racing.
Absolutely.
But to me, obviously racing, winning and losing is important, and that's who we are. We've talked about it since we've been partners, years ago, is that competitive, nature of racers is what makes us successful in business, because those type of driven people. But really, for someone, I raced a little, right, but nothing like you and Ryan did. I enjoyed traveling, going to Lake Havasu, us renting houses together. We'd show up to a new town, and we'd meet all these new people, and it was like, and then we'd all go home to our lives, and then a month later we'd come back and we'd turn up and wherever, Rochester, New York, and here we are.
Yeah.
So that whole traveling part of racing, and then that community within the racers, racing community, all the people, like, I just think like it's one of the most special things about this whole industry.
And that's kind of what keeps you actually still involved today, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
100%.
Obviously you personally aren't racing jet skis anymore, watercraft anymore. Ryan's not racing watercraft anymore, but it keeps you still wanting to be involved with Devin, Talon, and myself, right? And because it's your passion, it's what you dreamed of, right? It's what you loved, and you're like, you and I were very similar, grew up very similar past, the two of us, and we've kind of always, bonded on that side of it because we were so similar growing up, but we just had so much in common with the passion of the racing that we both still love it today, man, and we still want to support. It's even like me today, do I need to have all these racers and all these people? No, but it's my addiction, it's my passion, and both of us, we get that addicted personality, and you have to focus it on something, and it's a lot better to focus it on racing and stuff than other negativities in your life at that point.
And that's what I love about the boys doing it, because now we back up 25 years, and none of us really knew what was going to come of racing and business and power sports dealerships. But at the end of the day, the approach that we took to racing, that we brought to business, has really shown to be something that is very important, and I'm glad to see that our children do it. Like my son's racing dirt bikes.
Correct.
You know, the boys. That's for me. That's why, you know, when you called me and told me the boys were going to go racing, and you're like, "Hey, we support them." It was a 30-second
Yeah,
decision.
well, yeah,
right?
literally,
Boom.
yeah, 10
Done.
seconds.
Because
yeah.
all the, you know, because that, and, you know, I think back about when you became a part of Mountain Motorsports.
Yeah.
But I always remember that, like, when you became a part of our business, it instilled this level of competitiveness.
Correct.
That I won't say that we didn't have, but not at that championship level. So, like, when you talk about people that race things, right? There's two types of people.
Yeah.
There's types of people that race for fun. There's types of people that race to win, and nothing else is good enough.
Right.
And those are the champions. The champions are the ones that have that extra bit of thing, and you obviously have always had that. That willingness to do that extra thing that's a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That seems a little sketchy and a little scary, but I'm not really sure. But we're doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the same. And you get that from racing.
And it
right?
translates from racing to business, right? You get in these situations in a company, in a business, when we were, you know, growing the Mountain Motorsports brand. So, you know, I came onto the business in 2010, and at that time there was the Conyers location and the Kodak location. So we had two locations. We were buying the Marietta store. I came in, moved to Georgia, and we all worked together to kind of grow, you know, kind of what Justin's talking about. And, you know, at that time in my life, I kind of accomplished everything in racing back in, you know, 2010, was riding for all the manufacturers and was still racing at that time, but was kind of looking for that next thing.
You came in the business,
Yeah.
the boys were really young.
Yeah.
And
They weren't old enough to race
yeah,
yet,
they weren't
you
old enough
know,
to race.
so I didn't really,
So we
you know.
just chilled out, but then,
Yeah.
you know, it was like, you know, you were the first ones with semi-trucks and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, so now it's cool to see,
Growing
like,
again.
leaving in a big rig,
All the
and, you know, jet
manufacturers.
skis, the manufacturers, so it's
Energy
really
drink companies are coming in, you know, so I mean they've been in it for a while, and so I kind of moved to Georgia, started the Marietta store. You know, what started in, you know, one store here led to another, 4 in Georgia after that, and then 2 in Alabama. Actually, Justin was the one that kind of gave me the opportunity, because I was running all the Georgia stores and the Alabama stores at that time, right? So I had 6 Georgia stores, 2 Alabama stores, and I couldn't just up and leave that Mountain Motorsports store. Ryan was working kind of for the family business, so I needed to go, hey, you know, who's the next crazy person to want to do that, right? So I had to get Justin moved from Tennessee to move down to Georgia, because I couldn't just up and leave, right? I knew that. We all had too much money invested. I had money invested, Justin, Ryan, so on and so forth. So Justin actually did me, you know, a big solid and stuff, knew I wanted to spend some time with my kids, and we kind of transitioned that, and, you know, I still owe him today, you know, for that, because, you know, without the last, 6-7 years, I would have not got to spend the last couple of years of time with the boys before they went to college.
We bought 30 different businesses over that period of time, and then we consolidate them into smaller businesses. So every time we go into a market, there would be 2 or 3 stores with 2 or 3 brands in that market. And then we would take those 2 or 3 stores, maybe sell the real estate, maybe do whatever, and then consolidate them into one big location. So doing that, you're constantly having to, you know, purchase someone's business or buy it. And then, so there's obviously a period of time there where there's a Mountain Motorsports, and then there's the other business.
So like at one time, for example, like when I bought, let's just use the Buford store, for example. 3 businesses operating out of 3 separate buildings, and it took me 6 or 8 months, and I built a new building, and we consolidated, moved all of those locations, all 3 of them, into one location that turned into the Buford store, which today is a 55,000 square foot facility that has all the brands under one roof. We try to consolidate it, like you said, into 11 stores. That is one location. You walk in, you have every single brand with all your customers, your best managers, your best salespeople, your best service people in one location in wherever that town may be.
Like, the thing that shocked me was I hadn't spent much of time in Atlanta, and I remember I called him about a month later. I'm like, hey man, dude, how do you get from Conyers to Marietta and back in one day? Like, I made these meetings, I've missed them all, I can't get there. And you're like, yeah, you dumbass. He's like, you know, Dustin, he's super brash. He's like, you idiot. He's like, you can't go to Conyers and Marietta on the same day. You don't know that. I'm like, no, I don't know that, dude. You called me 2 weeks ago, told me that you're gonna, you know, about to take your job, but you forgot to tell me that, like, you can't get here from there in Atlanta. So it's awesome to see that time that you have been allowed to spend with the boys has progressed back into racing being this big again. Like, it's like when I see the rigs
factory
going,
team, Yamaha involved, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you got to be able to put that passion and that killer part of racing into business as well. And it's like Justin was talking about, it's not that I personally had experience in the motorcycle business. Justin actually had more motorcycle experience at that time than I did. But what I came in was, hey, that we are going to find a way to go crazy and make something that no one could ever imagine. And we're gonna bring that racer mentality, and we're gonna buy up all these stores, and we're gonna just live uncomfortable, and we're gonna be just chaotic. And that's kind of what it stemmed into, really.
Exactly. As business goes on and your business grows and it gets a little bigger than at the time when just Ryan and Dustin and I could be in a store every day. One of our core values is competitiveness. We expect our people to be competitive because, one, the owners and the founders of the business that created it are highly competitive people. I mean, still to this day, you know, Dustin, you know, still racing jet skis every day. You know, Ryan, you know, he drives race cars every day. And you know, and me in business, I mean, it's like I literally can't stand for one customer to ever buy something somewhere else because I'm just ultra competitive. And that, again, all that stuff stems from racing. I mean, the whole point of this whole conversation is just like, how does racing and business
Intertwine. Yeah, they kind of mesh.
And it really, it's just such a huge part of who we are as a business and our culture. And I think back to some of those times when we really put some fuel on the fire. We're obviously retailers of power sports products, but at a broader scale, we became consolidators of the market. That was what really, you know, fueled our growth was, you know, consolidating. And here, again, it came back to like when we got to buy a store, it felt like a win. Like when you go to the race and you win the race and you get your trophy, it felt like a win. Super cool to know that, like, realistically 27, 28 years ago, we were literally just driving around the country, racing jet skis. We took that same passion and fuel, you know, and put that into business, and it's enabled, you know, lots of people to have a really cool, exciting life and do some cool things.
You know, the kind of the story is today, man, this YouTube video is me thanking all the guys at Mountain Motorsports for all the years of support, success, friendship. You know, Ryan and Justin, these guys, you know, brought me in back in 2010. I helped them grow. They helped me grow, right? And we made a lot of money. We did a lot of cool stuff together, and you know, it's been a hell of a learning experience, and we still get to do it today. Summertime cut, baby. Got that summertime cut.
Bowling ball.
Oh, freshy. It's like a honeydew melon. Women like to rub on it. Yeah, man, we're gonna do a little riding, a little testing. Devin's got to test one of his new boats. We're gonna test Dennis Mack's new boat, Eric Logopoulos' and Trey Williams. So we're gonna test 4 boats today, put a little time on them, and see how they work. There's no excuse, bro. Yeah. No excuse for your old ass. You and Dennis, the 2 oldest people on the team, little geriatrics.
Yeah. What's going on, guys? Today, you get to see us testing the skis. Last time, you watched Rich build them all, got to see how it's done on the inside. Now you get to see me on the water on the outside.
Like and subscribe. Come on.